Guys, I want to thank the sponsors of the podcast. I want to thank GoHunt.com, my friend Cody Nelson, the glassing guru, the optics authority. He's the optics manager at GoHunt.com. If you have any interest in buying optics or have any glassing questions, whether it be tripods, spotting scopes, rifle scopes, range finders, anything to do with glassing, give Cody a call, 702-847-8747. That's extension 2, or you can email him at optics@gohunt.com. You can also send him a text or call him on his cell phone at 602-399-3699. Guys, right now at GoHunt.com Insider, you can take advantage of the free trial. Go to GoHunt.com/JScott. You're going to be able to take advantage of a free trial of the Insider. GoHunt is always adding more value for their Insider members. They've now added real 3D maps as a part of Insider for no additional cost. What an incredible value. Very soon they're going to have their mobile app up as well. Go to GoHunt.com/JScott and sign up for a free trial. If you're already an Insider member, it's automatically part of your Insider membership. And you can just go to the Maps tab up at the top once you sign in as an Insider. I also want to thank KUIU Ultralight Hunting. That's the gear that I wear on all of my hunts. To find out more, you can go to KUIU.com, KUIU.com. They're a direct-to-consumer company. They sell everything off of the KUIU.com website. I also do a lot of question and answer on my Instagram where I'm answering questions about guys wanting to know about gear about KUIU, so tune into my Instagram. I want to thank KUIU for their sponsorship. I also want to thank phonescope.com. Use the JScott20 promo code. You're going to get a 10% discount on all orders. And I want to thank allelk.com, home of the Bugle Mule. Use the JSO10 to save 10% on all orders. The Bugle Mule attaches to your bugle, and it's a great little carrier that holds 3 elk calls right there on your bugle tube, and I can't wait to use it this season. Again, thanks to all the sponsors of my podcast. Welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. Today I've got David Mathews of David Mathews Outfitters. David, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing today, Jay?
Good. I want to get a report from you on Arizona and New Mexico. Where did I catch you out on the road?
I'm actually in the Gila over in New Mexico, scouting over here for a few days and checking some cameras and all the good stuff.
Nice. How's it look over there on the Gila?
It actually looks pretty good. Our monsoons just kind of started kicking in. It wasn't real crucial for the antler growth. I think the antler growth looks probably average or maybe a little better than average. So I think the antler growth is going to be awesome on the Gila this year. And as far as the monsoons, it's starting to fill up a few of those dry tanks that have been dry all summer. So it's all going in the right direction.
We've had a fairly dry monsoon season. Have there been the Gila is fairly high elevation. Does it seem like there's been a few more storms that have hit the Gila than other parts of, say, Arizona where it's really, really dry?
It seems like there has been a few more storms hit the Gila than a lot of Arizona. I don't know why. Maybe elevation, like you said, but I think it has. I think there has been a few more storms that have hit this area over a lot of the other areas that we do hunt. So,
and over there in the Gila, what units are you going to be focusing on primarily this year?
Primarily, we'll be in the unit 15, 16D, and 16A, the primary units here on the Gila.
Okay. And does any one of those units look better than the other?
I don't think that any one of them looks better than the other. I think they all look really good. I've spent several days in each of the unit and running cameras and glassing and I think, as far as I can tell, I think they're all about the same. I think that we're average or maybe slightly above average. I think antler growth looks really good here.
So the bulls, it's the 2nd of August. all of the bulls are still in velvet, or do you have any that have rubbed off?
None that are rubbed off. You can tell that they're pretty much done growing. They're all pretty tipped out. But none. I haven't seen a bull yet that's rubbed out. So
Okay. Those archery seasons kick off, and I believe there's a first and a second season over there. Do you see, just as normal, average year, not one hunt will be better than the other, or do you still see that second hunt as the better hunt?
I still see that second hunt as the better hunt. Just because it progresses into the rut a little bit later. So there'll be more bugling. There'll be more bugling, more rutting action, more visible elk. Just for the simple fact that they're making noise and you can actually track them down.
If I remember right, the rifle seasons over there, maybe even muzzleloader season, seem like they're a little bit later this year, maybe a week or 10 days later. Did I remember right?
Yes, sir. They're all about a week later than normal.
How do you think that's going to play into the?
I really think, in my opinion, I think it's good. Just for the simple fact that we rarely catch the tail end of the rut anyways. I mean, there might be some younger bulls, some 300s and some 5x5s and small 6 points that are still bugling and trying to rut cows. But for the most part, our target bulls have pulled off of the rut, or pulled off of the cows. So I think that, and in my opinion, once they do that, they kind of they kind of drop into a big, deep canyon and recoup for a few days and then show back up on the brush. And I think with the later dates, I think that we're going to see a lot more of those bulls that have pulled off and showed back up onto the brush. I think they're going to be a little bit more visible, trying to eat as much as they can and recoup from the rut.
So in other words, what you're saying is they're going to have a little bit of a break to kind of recoup from the rut, and then it'll let them kind of get back on their feet and kind of get moving around a little bit and back to eating, which will then allow them to be a little bit more vulnerable to the glass.
Exactly right. You're exactly right. I really think that they're going to be a lot more vulnerable this year for the glassing, end of the elk hunting. So.
Okay. And then are you also doing some deer hunts over in the twos in New Mexico?
Yeah. I've got 2B, 2C, 2A.
How's that
5B
looking?
and 7. It all looks fairly decent. I think we've had two down years in a row over there, but I think this year actually looks fairly good as far as antler growth. It's kind of hard to tell now. I mean, they're still got a lot of growing left, but I think. I don't know if we're going to have a superb year, but I think we're going to see a better year than we have seen for the last 2 years. That's
good. I mean, good winter moisture. New Mexico had good winter moisture up in that country, so that should help, right?
Yeah. And actually the monsoon season up there, it started a little bit earlier than it did down here. So they've been seeing some good rains already up there to finish them out, so that, I think that they'll finish out really well and good, like you said, good winter moisture. I think we'll see a pretty decent year.
How does Arizona, I know you run stuff up on the Strip and maybe the Kaibab, how do things look up there?
I think the Strip is, 13B in my opinion. I think both of the units, 13A and 13B, are down a little bit than they were for sure last year. 13B maybe more than 13A. I don't know if it had to do with the 100+ days of no rain in early fall, but I know that they had pretty decent rain and spring moisture and snowfall in the winter. I think they had pretty decent winter moisture. That's the only thing I can really attribute it to. I've been up there running cameras and everything, in my opinion, is down a little in those 13B and 13A units, and probably more in 13B than 13A.
Are you going to be doing archery hunts there on the Strip or will you be over in New
No,
Mexico?
yeah, I'm not going to be on any archery hunts on the Strip this year. I'll be in New Mexico focusing on some of the deer stuff and getting ready for the elk stuff over here on the Gila.
What percentage would you say of business do you do in New Mexico compared to Arizona when you take all the different animals that you guide?
I think I'm probably somewhere about 80%, 20%, 80% New Mexico, 20% in Arizona.
Okay. So that's a primary focus of yours, and we've talked about it before, and
Yeah,
you've given
yeah.
some good tips. Which trail camera do you run the most, or that you like the most?
I love the stealth cams. You know, I think that they've actually started making some what I call quote unquote coverage cams. You know, that are fairly cheap. You know, that take pretty decent pictures that you're not going to miss anything with. You know, and that was always kind of my my thoughts. You know, in the last few years, is trying to find a camera that's fairly cheap to run so that you can have a bunch of them that you won't miss any pictures. And then once you have pictures of something good, then maybe you can throw a good camera on as it finishes out growing and that type of thing. But yeah, the stealth cam 100%. I think that they've got, some of the best lower end cams all the way through the 4Ks. I really, really, really dig their cameras.
What model would you say is a good coverage cam for the price?
I've been using those. What are they? The XS16s. I've got a bunch of those this year. And I've checked a lot of cameras, and I actually put a 4K camera on top of my XS16 just to see if I was missing any pictures. And honestly, the only pictures that I would say that I were missing were maybe some bird pictures on drinkers, that the 4K took and the XS16 didn't take. But other than that, the deer and all that stuff, they were similar. They had all the same pictures, and they didn't miss any pictures. So I really think that XS16 for the price, I think it's a good camera right now as far as what I would say is coverage cameras. Yes, sir.
On the 4K camera, you know how I would imagine you set on video mode most of the time. Do you also set the setting where it actually takes a photo as well? So when you're scanning through it, you actually get a photo of probably what the subject is, and then you go ahead to know if you want to look through the video, or do you just set it on video and roll?
Yeah, I do. I do a three-shot burst picture along with a 15-second video. So you don't have to spend your time in loading every single video to actually check it out. You're able to see in the picture if it's something that you want to look at the video, like you said. So.
And when you're checking a lot of pictures, a lot of times speed is a huge thing, and you obviously don't want to waste, but you don't have time to look through every video, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. 100%. When you're sitting there and you pull up and you haven't been there in 2 weeks, and you pull up and you've got literally 2,500 pictures, you just want to kind of scroll through and look at the things that only catch your eye, as far as antlers, so it's just a little bit easier to do that and then look at the video a little bit later.
When you run, when you're running hard over there in the Gila in the 15s and the 16s, do you set up a base camp where, you run all of your hunts out of, or are each one of your camps kind of individualized per unit?
Mostly I do. I rent a lodge over here. So I rent a lodge over here, and we run, it's kind of centralized. It's right on the border of 15 and 16D, and it's about 6 miles from 16A. So it's really centralized. You can run anywhere you want, as far as an hour into each one of the units and be fairly deep in the unit. But yeah, I do. I rent a lodge over here. So
Oh, cool.
we stay over there in that. So.
Do you have a cook that cooks for you full time, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I do. I have a cook that's local over here that cooks for me over here. So she cooks really good food, and she's knowledgeable. She grew up here, so she's knowledgeable about the hunting and knows what's up with, what a big bull is or etc. She knows a lot of people, and it's good to have her. So
That's awesome. Are your hunts in New Mexico primarily draw hunts, or do you also have some landowner tag stuff?
we do some landowner tags, but primarily I would say, 90% of what we do is draw. The landowner tags have been going up in price, but I still think that they're fairly reasonable for somebody that wants to come and the quality, the potential quality that could be killed here.
Yeah. And do you live primarily in Arizona? I think it was Chino Valley, wasn't it?
Camp Verde.
Oh,
Yeah.
Camp Verde.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. I live, yes, sir. Yep, I live in Camp Verde. So yeah, I live in Camp Verde. It takes me about 4 hours to drive from Camp Verde over here to the Gila. About 4.5 hours to northern New Mexico. Where I like to deer hunt up there, and then it takes me, as many as 6 hours to drive to the Arizona Strip. So, a lot of the stuff in New Mexico is a little bit closer than it is to drive to the Arizona Strip.
Yeah, I would assume you cut across the 260 and then um, go through like Heber Overguard and then through Springerville. Is that the route you take?
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
What driving through 3C and 23 and some of those units, were you able to get a sense of how those units look in Arizona?
I think, in my opinion, I think there's good feed. I think the feed could be a little drier than normal, but as far as the feed, I think the feed looks great. Like we had a pretty decent winter, and I'm sure that's what's the feed is thriving on, as far as that, because the monsoons really haven't done anything, to speak of in Arizona at all. But I think the feed looks great. From what I've seen in Arizona with the elk, with the cameras that we run and a little bit of looking that we've done in Arizona already, I think that Arizona looks good too as far as the elk. I think that they're going to be on track for another great year. I think we're going to see some big numbers killed this year with the elk hunts also.
Now, will you run some elk hunts in Arizona this year, or are you primarily
Yeah,
all?
yeah, yep,
What?
yep. I do a few elk hunts in Arizona every year. So yeah, but I do have a few this year that will run in Arizona, and I think I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be good.
Awesome. Great, man. Well, I appreciate the report. I wanted to get kind of a on the ground, boots on the ground, New Mexico kind of outlook, and you were the right guy to call, and you're over there now. Be safe, and thanks for reporting in there from the field for us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the call, and look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Yep, and I'll link up David's info in the show notes. And what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Honestly, this time of year, it may just be a voicemail or a text message. 928-300-6405. Or you could leave me a message on my Instagram, which is David Mathews Outfitters, or in Facebook, David Mathews. Any one of those ways. It may not be immediate response, but I will get to it.
Sounds good, man. All right, be safe over there, and good luck if I don't talk to you before the season starts.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, take care.